Hello friends, and welcome back to the Wesley Commons web series. I'm Nick Anise, this is Davis McClendon. Today we have a very informative episode for you. This episode is going to be about entrance fees and refunds and how they pertain to CCRCs. Now I know Davis is very excited about this episode because he gets to use words like amateurization and actuarial tables. So I'll let Davis go ahead and get started.
Yeah, so this again is a little bit more detailed description of how entrance fees work here at Wesley Commons. They're different for many different types of communities. There's also type A, type B, type C. There's all kinds of stuff going on, but this is how the refunds work at Wesley Commons. We are a fee-for-service community, and we charge an entrance fee based really upon the size of the home. So square footage really determines how much the entry fee is, and of course the monthly fee that goes along with it. We get a lot of questions about how the refund works, and so we kind of want to take a deep dive into how that works. And for a lot of people, this may be very boring, and you may want to go to another web series. But for those people who really want to understand the entrance fees, this is what this one's all about. So, what we've done here is basically taken an example of a villa at Wesley Commons. You can see the villa up there. It's a 1,100 square foot villa, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's got a nice living area, full laundry room, full kitchen, great outdoor patio, nice front porch. It's a nice villa, but probably a little bit smaller than what some people are typically used to living in. But we're using this as just an example to show you how to read the sheet. So when you get that info at wesleycommons.org, you shoot us an email. We'll send you the updated price sheets, or we can actually mail you a packet.
That's right.
And in that packet, we'll actually go through some explanations here that we have on a lot of these things we're talking about that I think help you through it. But if you're like me, having somebody walk you through it, it typically helps. So that's kind of what we're doing about. But these come with floor plans, site plans, all kinds of information. And then of course, where a lot of this stuff is going to come from too is in this disclosure statement. So this has the amortization schedules. It actually has the agreements that you sign when you move into Wesley Commons. It has all 3 different agreements you can sign for independent living. So this kind of goes through the nuts and bolts of exactly what you're agreeing to do when you move into a place like Wesley Commons. And most places that you visit, I imagine all of them, would actually disclose this information to you and give you a copy of the agreements to move in so you can understand the nuts and bolts of it. So with that said, am I on the right path?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll be glad to send anyone a copy of this. Just shoot us an email and we'll put it in the mail for you.
That's right. We'll send you the weekly newsletter, all kinds of fun, exciting stuff that probably more fun than this web series will be. But this is informative, as Nick said earlier. But as you can see, this villa, again, the 1,100 square foot villa, it says 1057, actually measures out a little over 1,100 square feet, but that doesn't really matter. But you can see here that you have 3 different options for the entrance fee. There's a 0%, a 50%, and a 90%. And what they're talking about is how much you're going to get back, you or your estate will get back when you leave Wesley Commons. Okay, whether you move out or you move on, you or your estate will get a portion of what you gave Wesley Commons back after you leave. And those refunds are actually, the way our business model works is that when we get a new refund, somebody else moves in, then we refund the previous person. So sometimes through renovations, getting somebody on campus, getting them moved in, it could take 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months sometimes to get these refunds refunded out.
That's one of the biggest questions that we'll get. When do you pay out the refunds? And like you said, it's when we capture an entrance fee of a new resident moving in.
Right. And a lot of communities do it differently. But most of them are going to wait until they get their entrance fee back to pay you back because they don't have the capital to be able to disperse funds just as soon as somebody moves out. So that's the way most all these continuing care retirement communities work. And that's the way Wesley Commons works. So for this villa, if you can't see the detail on the screen here, but this villa costs $156,741, a one-time entrance fee that you pay the day you move in, okay? And most people are doing that by taking the equity out of their home. And it's equity that if they were to stay and age in place, they were never going to use, they're never going to see. So a lot of people say, well, I can take the equity I worked my whole life for, and I can put it towards Wesley Commons or a place like Wesley Commons to make sure that I secure my future. It's worth that to them to know that no matter what happens, somebody's going to be there to take care of them and they don't have to count on loved ones to ever do that. But at the same time, they get to enjoy all these great benefits of what a CCRC provides with the no maintenance lifestyle and all the activities and amenities and all the fun things that go with it. But again, $156,741 is what we call a 0% option, which means it's non-refundable. So if you choose that option at Wesley Commons, there's no amortization schedule. Some communities do have a 20-month amortization schedule on their 0%. We do not, because what we do, no matter which one you choose, if you do not like it here, in the first 6 months, we'll refund 100% of your entrance fee if you're just not satisfied, okay? The amortization schedules, the refund charts, these are all if something were to happen to you. Whether you move a level of care, whether you pass on, it's going to you or you decide to move out and go somewhere else. That's what we're talking about here. So the 0% option for this bill is $156,741, okay? You could opt to pay a little bit more money, roughly $45,000 more. You could pay $203,764. Well, why would you do that? Well, if you do that, you or your estate is guaranteed to get at least 50% of that back. Meaning that, and I've got some of this stuff written out for me on the actual math of all this. I don't have to do it in my head because I'm not that smart. But you're guaranteed to get back at least $101,882, which is 50% of $203,764, right? But that meant that while you lived at Wesley Commons, $47,023 of yours over and above what the 0% is sitting in Wesley Commons account. So Wesley Commons is getting the benefit of that additional cash for our operating capital, our operating budget. But in return, Wesley Commons is going to give your estate back at least the $101,882, right? So now we know that, when it's all said and done over here, Wesley Commons ends up with $101,000 of your total assets, or over here they ended up with $156,000, right? The downside to that was that you had $47,000 sitting in our account, extra in our account. We don't care which option you choose. And we're not telling you, we're trying to tell you which option is the best. Matter of fact, we take ourselves out of it, and it doesn't matter which option you choose. It doesn't change your monthly fees.
Nope,
it doesn't change anything that you do, any rights in voting or anything to do at Wesley Commons. You don't get a special table because you bought the 90%. We don't care which one you choose. But you have the option of 0, 50, or 90, and we advise you to go talk to somebody you trust financially that can help you walk you through this. Because there's things and goals that you want to accomplish, maybe cash you want to hold into, different ways of dispersing to your estate. We don't want to get into nuts and bolts of that. We just want you to understand what these means. So take what we know, what we're giving you, and take it to somebody you trust financially. Maybe you have, obviously you can make the best decisions yourself, but a lot of people want to lean on somebody else. And I always advise too, there's a lot of financial advisors there that want that additional cash that you could give to Wesley Commons so they can get the benefit of that. So they can invest it and get the dividends and get paid commissions off of your cash. So sometimes getting the advice of the person benefiting from it isn't the best advice. But that's neither here nor there.
And I've seen some other communities that offer refund options that are kind of hard to understand and difficult to read. Ours are very cut and dry, no red tape, very simple. 50% refund or 90% refund.
That's right.
Guaranteed to get that money.
That's right. So, and that means, if you stay here for 100 years, you're still going to get back the $101,882.
Even if you downsize and move to a smaller apartment, that money's going to follow you. Your refund's going to follow you to that other apartment.
That's right.
You're still going to get the 101.
That's right. And the other part of that too is that whatever you pay, whether 0, 50, or 90% at Wesley Commons, is applicable to whatever you want to move into in the future.
That's right.
So whether you move up or down, that entry fee that you gave to Wesley Commons is applicable to the place you're going to move into. So a lot of people that live here at Wesley Commons for a long time, maybe move into a big house, and then one day want to get closer to the main building and actually move into an apartment, they can downsize into an apartment and not have to pay an additional fee. And they'll just pick up the monthly fee of the place they move into. Okay, go back one more slide for me, Nick. I want to touch real quick on this one. There's also the 90% option, okay? The 90% option for this villa is $329,157. Let's call it $330,000, okay? That's basically what it is. It's more than double what the 0% is. But again, the benefit here is that no matter how long you stay here at Wesley Commons, the most Wesley Commons is going to end up of your money is basically 10% of that. So you're going to get back 90%. So roughly, Wesley Commons getting up with $33,000 of your total estate, no matter how long you stay here. The downside to that is there's a lot of capital of yours that is sitting in a Wesley Commons account, and they're getting the benefit of that. So we're getting the operating benefit of having that capital, but in return for you giving us that capital up front, we're going to give you a lot of money back when you leave, okay? That one is an extreme option. We probably get most of ours on the zeros and the 50s. We get a few 90s, but most of them are on the zeros and 50s, right?
That's right.
When I'm talking about amortization schedule, that's the next slide. That's what Nick was rolling over to. So this is what they're calling, basically how long you live at Wesley Commons.
This only pertains to the 50 or the 90.
To the 50
Totally
and the 90.
irrelevant
Okay?
to the 0%.
And the 90% will stop right here. Okay? So the most, on the 90% option, the most you're going to, once you get back, these are the number of months you live here. So this is 6 months, this is 12 months, this is a year, and then 24 would be, 2 years. So once you get past 10 months on the 90% scale, you're not losing any more. But in the first 10 months, it's actually going down at 1% a month. And you can see in the first 5 months, it's no greater than 95%. So what that's saying is, you move into a house and you bought the 50 or the 90% option, and let's say you pass away, get in a car wreck and pass away, or you leave Wesley Commons, or you have to move into long-term care, whatever the case may be. You stop living in that place independently. That's when this kicks in. So if it happens in the first 5 months, the most you can get back is 95%. But once we hit that, on the 90% and the 50%, it goes down 1% a month each month. This is talking percentage you get back. If you follow this all the way down to the next column, you get over here to 3 years at 36 months and 4 years at 48 months. And then after 50 months of living at Wesley Commons independently, the most you're going to get back is 50%. What this is kind of it's almost an insurance policy that says if you don't get to really spend enough time at Wesley Commons and enjoy the benefits of Wesley Commons and what you bought into, you could get back a lot more. So we've had people move in before into independent living, and for whatever reason, they had to move out of independent living, maybe to long-term care. And what they do is, if let's say 2 years after moving in, they can get back 76% of using that villa as our thing, which is $203,000 plus. You can get back, at 76%, you're gonna get a check back for $154,860.64. That's roughly $155,000. If you paid the $200,000, you're gonna get back a check for over $155,000 whenever you move out of the community. Caveat to that is, if you move to long-term care, which happens, a lot of people use this refund as a long-term care savings account. Because at Wesley Commons, you can move into assisted living, and let's say assisted living maybe $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month. Memory care sometimes can exceed $6,000 a month. But they can use this $155,000 that we owe them to pay the balance of their monthly fees over in long-term care. So we can send them a statement with exactly how much they owe, and whatever they don't use would then go to whatever they want us to give it to. Their estate typically is what they want to give it to. Sometimes people donate it to charities. Sometimes they donate it to Wesley Commons.
Yeah, a lot of times.
But understanding the nuts and bolts of the amortization schedule is kind of tricky. But that's really it. It just means that in the first 50 months of living here, if something were to happen to you, you can get back more than 50%. So the worst case scenario, go back a slide for us, Nick. Can you slip back one slide? The worst case scenario, no matter what, is going to be in what refund option you chose. So it's either 0, 50, or 90%. The 50%, which is a lot of people focus on, if something would happen in the first 4 years and 2 months, then you can get back more than 50%. So those are reasons why people decided to take different options of the entrance fee at Wesley Commons. This particular villa, is $2,689 a month. Let's call it $2,700 a month. That pays for all the other stuff. That pays for, the activities, the meal plans, the weekly housekeeping. We are, of course, changing light bulbs if you need it. We've got transportation. We've got all kinds of services that come with this. But what we were focusing on today was really the entrance fee. So understanding a lot of that, Nick and I have visited a combination well over 100 continuing care retirement communities all over, mostly the East Coast. We've seen some, in the middle part of the country. But we know a lot about continuing care retirement communities. We continue to learn more, and we'd like to hear some of your input on your experiences at continuing care retirement communities. But this is how Wesley Commons works, and if you've got questions, concerns, you just call us. Nick and I are actually happy to come and do home visits with people too, so we do that a lot. So we can bring all the tools with us. We can send you, we want to do whatever it is to get the information in your hands. We can get it to your financial advisors, to your kids' kids, whomever is interested in what you have going on. We'd love to be able to help. So again, thanks for sticking with me through a lot of that.
And we hope you enjoyed your nap. Thank you very much.
Enjoyed your nap. And we'll be coming to you with many more, probably more exciting videos in the future. And we look forward to touching base with you.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.